This podcast is powered by As Always Entertainment. If you enjoy this content, consider becoming a patron over on patreon.com/asalways. Other than to support this show for just $1 a month or more, you get access to over 50 exclusive episodes of the Kill Connor Clubhouse podcast that release every week the Kill Connor Club podcast isn't on. You also get a week's early access to the SpoilerCast show, The Cinema Room, and plenty of cool perks such as being part of polls for future videos on our channels, as well as other early access material. With that said, please enjoy the podcast.
Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of the Cinema Room podcast, the SpoilerCast podcast, where we talk about movies, video games and TV show seasons. I'm one of your hosts, Tyler, joined as always by James.
As always, how's it going?
Good, my friend. How are you going?
I'm going good.
That's the way. Today we are talking about a film that people have been requesting us talk about for a while, ever since we started this podcast, and it is Spider-Man Into the Spiderverse. So, full spoilers if you haven't seen it yet, go watch it, then come back and have a listen to this podcast. Or if you don't care, just listen to the podcast anyway, see what we think of it, but you'll get everything spoiled. That's the only downside there. And I'm excited to talk about this. We're trying to decide what to do because we're pre-recording a bunch of podcasts before I go away. And, you know, I thought, you know, this is a good one to do. It's about time I watched it. I mean, you know, Far From Home just came out. Spider-Man's been killing it the last 12 months with, obviously, Tom Holland's movies, The Avengers and Far From Home, the Spider-Man PS4 and Into the Spider-Verse. You know, it's all about Spider-Man these days. So here we are. But of course, this is the Cinema Room. It's powered by the great people at patreon.com/as always. So to thank our Patreon producers, we have King Richard III, Kassassin, Elstico91, Seth, and Josh Devillier. So once again, full spoilers for this. And if you want to hear more and you're enjoying this sort of content, head to patreon.com/as always. For just $1 a month, you get exclusive access to the Kill Connor Clubhouse podcast. Every week, the Kill Connor Club podcast is not on. There's over 66 episodes for your enjoyment on there of the Kill Connor Clubhouse podcast, plus a week's early access to this podcast, the Cinema Room podcast. So it comes out when normal Kill Connor Club comes out, but on Patreon. That's a week's early. You could be listening to this right now, a week before you are.
That's crazy.
Just $1 a month. So to thank a few more of the Street Vintage lads, we have King Richard III, Kassassin, Elstico91, Seth, Bullseye47, Josh Devillier, Damian, Billy the Team Tynamite, Captain Robertson, Tman, Travis, Baby Boy, KEMOSABE Gamer, Casey Wood, Pink Flame 313, Adam Sundling, Alfie Rowsell, Jamie Brown, Lumistrad, Mario 5380 is gay, ArunWyn, Fat Fuck Cuck, Brendon, A.K.A Overlord, RAVJAI, Julli, A.K.A Oscar, Benedict Parker returns, James and Lad, Connor Durose Bully in the alley, Zahir the FAT Gamer, Max H, Gene, Zeek Collins, Son of a Bitch, Ogeaidogo, George, Dammit Glenn, Furious Cucker, the ACMJS, Kyle, Sandor the Pussy Slayer, S-Jaws, Marcus Blackburn, Emil Katborg, Joshua Morrow, Ginko Swag, Master Bass, Yazen, Enjoy the Sexy Boi Smith, Joe A.K.A FoundedScarab, HBar12, I Got Lumbago, Alfie Robert, Brian Ford, Casper, Milk Boy, Shields, Fishy, Andreu Martinez, and Fanaclers on YouTube. Thanks, you sweet vintage lads, for helping power this podcast. All right, James.
Yes, film connoisseurs, thank you very much.
Film connoisseurs, thank you. James, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Into the Spider-Man.
It's the first time we're doing a Cinema Room on a movie I hadn't seen and you had,
yeah,
by the way.
Whoa.
This is the first time that's happened.
That'll never happen again.
Yeah, probably
or
not.
Maybe
yeah,
it will. No.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe it will.
Not. Is there anything I've seen that you haven't seen? Well, we can't figure it out without listing out every movie we've ever seen, so let's not do that.
The retarded question. That was a dumb question you've just asked us.
You're welcome.
Oh,
right.
Cool. So, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, why don't you talk about like what your thoughts on it are in general and why you've wanted me to watch it?
Yeah, give me a second. Sorry, I'm typing a tweet. I've changed the time of streaming because I've realised that I want to have a shower after this and I'm fucking hungry. And so I'm just changing the stream. Do you want to start off a bit? I just want to type this tweet out.
Yeah, right. Well, I mean, I anticipated I was going to enjoy this movie. I thought, look, everyone's been talking about it. I like superhero movies, love Marvel, and, you know, I've gone really into Spider-Man, so I was excited for it. And I didn't really know the storyline. I had an idea, obviously, just based on the name. But even then, you know, definitely caught me off guard and surprised me in a lot of ways. But overall, I absolutely loved the movie. I'm not big on... The big reason I hadn't watched it yet was I'm not big on animations. I don't really like watching cartoons or animations all that much, but this was great. I have no complaints on the animations. It was cool the way they did it, very comic book style. I loved the characters. I loved the story. I loved the new elements I didn't know about with Spider-Man. With the Miles storyline, I loved Peter Parker in this. The acting was great. The story was great. I really don't have anything negative to say about it overall, other than like a couple of like cringy moments. But like it was funny and clever and well done, and the story was good, and it was great character arc from start to finish, and it was a great Spider-Man movie.
Yeah. I think I agree with everything you said. To be honest, I think I'm pretty much in the same mind. I think the animation. I love the unique like animation art style. I think it's bloody great the way it's like it just sort of jumps out of a comic book and is on a screen. I love the little like speech bubbles and thought bubbles and stuff that pop up and everything. The way they show the way that Spider Sense works, like how it changes like the color, and like you sort of see it, you know, from Miles' perspective and stuff, and you kind of got all these like clashing colors that look really nice. And the way they, you know, they pay a lot of respect to comics and little Easter eggs here and there. Like this is clearly a Spider-Man movie for Spider-Man fans. The way that they just so many little things are great. Peter Parker's great. Miles is great. All the other Gwen Stacy's great, and all the other, you know, characters, like you got the noir Spider-Man and the fucking weird anime. I mean, that one's fine. I'm not a huge fan. And Spider-Ham was fucking brilliant.
The Spider-Ham thing and the anime one, I was like, what in the fuck's happening?
I love Spider-Ham so much. He is so fucking funny. I hope he comes back for a sequel. I absolutely love him. He was great. Wasn't a huge fan of the anime one just because I didn't find much comedic value in there. It was just sort of silly for silly's sake. Like, oh, look at this silly Spider-Man thing. Like, whereas Spider-Ham, I was like, oh, this guy's actually funny. I thought he made some good jokes.
So Harlan, who's, you know, my brother and did animation at university, and he's an artist, he loves this movie. One of his favorite movies ever. He's watched it 1,000 times, and he was so excited to watch it, for me to watch, and he watched it with me, and I just go to him, is that Nicolas Cage? And he just started laughing when I realized, like, what the fuck's happening right now?
Yeah, he does a good job as well, which is really strange. Sort of fits
not really.
in
I mean,
there.
I like Nicolas Cage.
He's fine. He's just sort of funny though. Like you always find him playing roles
seen National
that just
Treasure?
are
What a
not
great
for him.
movie.
Do you actually like National Treasure?
I love National Treasure.
I love National Treasure.
Yeah.
Nobody else does. Though.
Really?
Yeah. Like, that's a movie that people are like, what a shit movie. Like, it's just like a silly
National
movie.
Treasure,
I fucking love National Treasure.
Yeah, so do I, man.
Let's do a cinema room on National Treasure.
Yeah,
Fuck
I'd love
this.
that. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, we should do that.
I even like the sequel. Not as much as the original, but
I don't remember the sequel a great deal, but I remember I liked it.
Well, they go to El Dorado?
I don't remember it. I don't remember it. I need to watch it. I tell you what, actually.
I would have loved National Treasure 3.
The other week, I would have loved it as well. The other week, I watched National Treasure again. Yeah, and I downloaded the sequel as well, but I just never got around to watching it. Because I wanted to show Elva. I was like, I remember this movie being really good. And it is really good.
Yeah.
And I don't know why people don't like it.
Because it's Nicolas Cage, that's about it.
I guess so. But he fits the role. Like, he works. Like, you know, it's good. I don't know.
This is definitely into the Spider-Verse cinema room.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I just realized.
We'll do a National Treasure one at some point.
Yeah. But I stand by National Treasure. I feel like I only watched it like 2 years ago, and I was like, this is great.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. I love National Treasure. Anyway, Nicolas Cage was noir Spider-Man.
He was.
That's what surprised me. Like, I didn't really know much about the story. Like, Into the Spider-Verse, I was like, all right, so how's this go with the multiverse? But when Peter Parker died at the start... Well, we'll start off at the start. Like, the way Miles is introduced and his relationship with his mother and father, and he goes to a private boarding school.
Mm.
I liked the way his character was going. He was, you know, modern, cool, with, you know, being an African-American sort of character in Brooklyn. He had a certain vibe about him that you'd expect from that sort of age, but at the same time, like, he was a smart kid and he was trying to fit in, and he was Peter Parker-y in his way, like the way, you know, and reason we love Peter Parker and things like that. So you know, I really enjoyed his character straight away, and then he has that relationship with his uncle, his father's a cop. And then his uncle, you assume, has kind of been involved in crime stuff just with the way the father talks. Like, oh, we all made our own choices. But I kind of like the way they did all those relationships with his father figures. It is it's a coming of age story. There's several father figures he has in this movie, Miles, both his father, his uncle, and Peter Parker. So I liked the way they introduced him and kind of what his personality's like, and we get an introduction quickly to Gwen Stacy when he goes in the classroom, and the time is relative thing, and obviously the whole movie's about time and stuff, so it's a very obviously important line to have. But yeah, I really enjoyed the way it starts off and everything like that. Like yeah, I'm not sure what else to say about the start of the movie. What, did I miss anything? That's
no, I think so.
Start,
yeah,
right?
That's pretty much everything they do.
Yeah,
I like the way they do the. They sort of have the multiverse sort of set up pretty early on. It's sort of like in the background when Miles first comes into class, and they've got for one, like it sets up that character that ends up being, this universe is Doc Ock, sort of on the screen. Then she's talking about the multiverse, and it's just sort of like this background noise while Miles and Gwen are sort of talking to each other. I like that, just sort of establishing little things in the background. I feel like every part of this movie was necessary. I don't think there's any fat to it. I think that it's well paced and well structured. I don't think there's much really that you could like trim off or get rid of. And also, on top of that as well, sort of in the same vein, like every frame of this movie is gorgeous. I don't think there's one frame where I'm like, that's bad. Like I think you could go frame by frame and it'd be like, yeah, everything looks really, really fucking nice. And it's, it's not just good animation, but it's like just the way that it's displayed as well. It looks really fucking good.
Yeah, I think only a couple of times I was caught off guard by like the out of focus bits of the animation as well. Like it is strange to where something's just randomly like not focused and not blurry. I'm like, okay, yeah, but I accepted it pretty early.
Okay.
We get to the point, obviously, where he gets bitten by this spider, and he just happens to be, his uncle shows him to this location, where that's connected to, bloody. What's his name?
I don't know what he's
Bald fat guy, main villain.
Oh, Wilson Fisk.
Fisk, yeah, Wilson Fisk. So the spiders obviously come from that lab, right? Like that's what we assume.
Yes.
And there's not just happens to be a spider in the sewer.
Well, yeah, it came from somewhere. Did it come? No. Wait, hang on. Where did it come from? I don't know. Did it come from another dimension? Like, or was that like it was a spider they were testing on or something?
Yeah.
I don't know. But
yeah, I mean, maybe it came from another dimension. I don't know, man.
I don't know, because it was like glitching out when he like goes to touch it or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, anyway, yeah. It was like from some lab or whatever. Somehow it got there.
Yeah. Yeah, right. But yeah, anyway, gets bitten by the fucking spider. And I love the way they do the discovering the powers. Really fun, just how like he's sticking to Gwen's hair. He's sweating. He's like, oh, puberty. His voice gets deep. Yeah. He grows a little bit like overnight. I don't think you know what puberty is.
Yeah, it's really great. It's really fun. And it's also like it's ripped right out of the comics as well. Like, because he goes and looks at those comic pages and everything, and it's like the same as, what's happening to him. And that was really nice. That was really cool. Yeah, it's a really fun sequence. Before that though, in the oh no, it is after. Never mind. I was getting mixed up. Yeah, never mind. Keep going.
What do you mean?
No, nothing. I just got the timeline of the movie mixed up.
Yeah, right. So after he gets like stuck on the hair, then the security guard's chasing him, and then he's out the window, and then like he's got the pigeons or whatever are dragging him around the roof. Yeah. The whole sequence is cool, and then like he lands on the Spider-Man comics and realizes what the fuck's going on. And then does he go back to where he got bit, or does he go try to find Spider-Man? I think it like
that's what happens, because he goes back to where he got bit, and that's where he finds Spider-Man, because Spider-Man's under that area as well. That's where the collider is. He manages to get in through that area. Yeah.
So he knows Spider-Man's there.
No.
That's where he got bit, so he goes back
he goes back there to try and find the spider, and then he hears a noise and goes to investigate.
The thing I loved about it was like it feels like two Spider-Man movies are going on at the same time, where you've got like Spider-Man doing his movie, and he's at like the climax of it.
Yeah.
And then we just kind of enter through this other character.
Yeah, it's because Miles hears a noise, he goes, and it's like he's Spider-Man's fighting Green Goblin.
Yeah, right. Which was Green Goblin was very weird in this.
Yeah, it's like the ultimate version, I think.
Yeah, well, this whole thing, but this timeline that Miles is in is a different Spider-Man timeline than we're used to completely. That's why Doc Ock's a woman, and
yeah, it's totally different. It's just like a new universe, yeah.
Whereas like the original Peter Parker universe that we know and are used to is the Peter Parker that travels from the old Peter Parker that travels to...
Peter B. Parker, he calls himself.
Yeah.
Differentiate him. Yeah. I assume so. We don't know.
Well, he looks the way the normal Peter Parker would look.
Yeah, you'd think that's the main, like, the universe that we know.
I think that's confirmed. Like, Harlan was telling me, like, he's read all into it. Like, that's the original Peter Parker that we all know.
Oh, okay. Well, if it is, then that makes sense.
Is that one? I assume he's not just making that up. I assume, like, he knows that when he says that, but who knows?
I don't know. So, if he does know, then there you go.
There you go.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense, though. That makes sense that it's the Well, it's not. Well, there's loads of different Spider-Man, but it's the one that closely resembles, the Spider-Man we're most familiar with. Yeah, that makes sense.
But then, Peter Parker dies.
Yeah. What do you think about that?
I mean, I like the way it's like, I better show you the ropes, because he's Spider-Man like in his prime, 10 years into being Spider-Man, where like he's the hero. Everyone loves him. He's gone through good times, hard times, but he's kind of got life together at this point. Whereas like old Peter Parker's like gone on too long, sort of thing. Should have retired or whatever. Yeah. But like he's like, oh, I'm gonna help you, kid, or whatever. So I liked where he was at, and the way they do let's get this started. I'm Peter Parker 10 years ago, blah blah blah, and they do like those sorts of like Spider-Man storylines. Like I like the way they did that, just to quickly explain who everyone was without going into too much details and wasting lots of time. Yeah. But yeah, no, I really liked it. Really like that. But I was very surprised, right? Like when he died, at first I was like, wait, he's dead? I thought he was more involved in this movie. Like I thought he kind of helped him a bit. So I kind of hadn't figured it out quite yet. But then kind of realized pretty quick that, well, as soon as I said Gwen Stacy, I'm like, that doesn't make sense. And then I thought, is she really Gwen Stacy? Like, like, or as in, is she really like from this universe? Is what I thought is the first thing. Okay. Yeah, but I was shocked, honestly. I was shocked. What did you think when you first saw it?
Yeah, I was shocked too, because I thought the same. I was like, I feel like I thought he was more involved in this movie. Like that was like, oh shit, maybe they were just sort of like, making shit up. I don't know. But then, so when he died, it did come as a shock, and it was a big moment, because as well, they get you to really like him. Like, when you see Spider-Man in this movie for the first however long it is, like 20 minutes or whatever, you don't see him much, but he's the Spider-Man that we know. So, like, he's pretty likable pretty quickly, because, if you've watched anything with Spider-Man or read any Spider-Man comics, he's that Spider-Man. Like, they're not trying to do anything different. They're just trying to, translate that perfectly. And so you like him a lot. It's like, yeah, that's Spider-Man. And he's, like, really experienced. He knows what he's doing. And then when he dies, it's like, oh, shit. Like, he's just fucking dead. Like, Spider-Man's dead. And, yeah, I think it hits pretty hard. I think it's pretty good for them to do that. It's a pretty good moment. I like the way that they managed to separate serious moments from comedy as well. That I think some movies in the MCU with Spider-Man sometimes can struggle with. They can have the serious moments for sure, but sometimes it's like they try and alleviate that with some comedy. Whereas this movie, I think, when it does a serious moment, it's a serious moment, and it's like, yeah, you're meant to feel something here, and then we can tell jokes later on, which is what they did with that moment. So I think it worked nicely.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And I felt the emotions of like when they're doing the funeral scene and MJ's doing a speech, and you kind of get the history, and you're like, okay, this is that Spider-Man that we know. And then Miles is like trying to figure it out and be like, what, he doesn't want to do it. And it's different because he's seen who Spider-Man is, and he's like, fuck doing that job. I'm not being the next Spider-Man. Like, absolutely fuck that. It's not as much of like, I don't know what to do. Should I do this? I don't really want it, but I'm not sure if I have to or whatnot. He literally is like, that's what I would become. Fuck that. That's too much for me. I'm a kid and all that. How old's Miles? 15, 16?
Probably, yeah. About that.
Yeah. And then we get where he goes, obviously, to Peter's grave. And then old Peter fucking shows up. When you started realizing...
We have some stuff before that, actually, before he goes to the grave. Because he goes... Because Peter told him beforehand, he's like, you got to take this, like, the USB thing, and you've got to destroy the collider. And obviously he couldn't do that and had to go. And he promised him that he would do it, and he feels, like, responsible. So he goes and buys that like, little costume suit from the shop where Stanley is running it.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And you have that nice little moment. That was the only moment in the movie where a joke did kind of come in on what was kind of meant like a nice little moment. Like Stanley, where he's like, what if it doesn't fit? And then Stanley's like, it always fits eventually. And it's like, that's a nice moment. But then it just like cuts to the side. And it's like, oh, there's no returns or refunds. And it's like, oh, it's just a joke, I guess.
Yeah, but, well, it was a bit too breaking the fourth wall if it wasn't with that joke bit at the end.
I guess so, but I like it.
Right.
I liked it anyway. You can break the fourth wall. They do it all the time in the movie. You know?
Yeah.
It's good. I don't know. I liked it. I thought it was a nice little moment. I mean, I think it worked regardless anyway. It's just a nitpick thing. But, yeah, you get that and you see him, because he wears that suit with his like hoodie over the top to Peter's, like, I guess it's like his public funeral type thing where you got MJ speaking and everything. And that's when he then goes to try and be Spider-Man. Where he like reads some comics to try and figure out like, oh, how did Spider-Man first do it? Because like, I guess in this universe they released Spider-Man comics based on his life, so like he like sold that.
He did a fucking Christmas album.
He did do a Christmas album. He did do that. And then yeah, so that's when Spider-Man or Miles, goes to the top of that building, and he wants to try and like jump off the same way Spider-Man did in the comic that he was reading to try and sort of see if he can do it. And you have that little moment.
Yeah, right.
Which was nice, you know, showing that Miles, you know, wants to take responsibility and everything. That was cool. And I think that's when he goes to the grave after that.
Yeah, true that. And then Peter shows up. So when the storyline gets to this point, where you know it's a different Peter Parker, what were your reactions to that? Because I was like, oh shit, here we go. Okay, so totally different universes are crossing over now. And I was also thinking, this is a kids movie, right? Like, this is a very complex storyline, but they did simplify it really well. I'll give them a lot of credit. They simplified a multiverse so easily that kids could still enjoy it. Yeah,
they did. I mean, I don't know whether it's a kids movie necessarily. It's probably a kids movie. It's a
cartoon Spider-Man movie. It is 100% a kids movie.
Well, I don't know about that. Cartoons don't have to be for kids. Like,
yeah, no, but this is though.
I mean, yeah, but I think it's for kids the same way you could watch Far From Home as a kid. Like, that's for kids too.
Yeah, this for sure though. More,
like, superheroes are for kids in general. Like,
yeah,
you know, but
yeah, I'd agree.
They're for everybody. I think that's the same as this movie. I think it captures. Well, obviously, like, you know, kids will be drawn to it as a cartoon, but I don't think it was made like we want to make a kids movie. I think it was made like, you know.
No, I didn't think that either. Movie. I'm just saying it is a kids movie, a bit more than Avengers Endgame is, right?
I guess
it is. Yeah, for sure.
I guess so. I guess they would think while making it, maybe like, oh, you probably will have kids drawn to this. I guess. But yeah, I mean, I agree. I don't think it was complicated at all. They simplified it well. But also that means as well they don't have to bother explaining anything either. They can just be like, look, this is just fucking it. Like, just you know, it works. So, and the thing is, as well, you can do a lot more like things like that in like a cartoon as well. Because if you're doing like a Avengers Endgame type thing, you can't just like skim over it and be like, you know, have a quick explanation. Like, people can be like, wait, I want to know how this thing works. Now this thing works, because the movies are way more grounded. But when you're translating a comic like that to like a cartoon, you can sort of just like have really quick, like, you know, backstories and really quick explanations and stuff, and that worked well. So I like that.
Yeah, right, for sure. I mean, yeah, no, I thought they did a really good job though explaining it all. That's all I'm saying. Like, I just really thought they made it very easy to comprehend, and you didn't really have to understand it. If you're like, I can imagine being a kid, you'd get it enough. That, like, you don't have to understand the in really specific details. Like, there's other dimensions and other Spider-Mans come in. That's what you really need to understand, right?
Yeah.
But they did it really well, and I like the way they did it as well, especially with doing, like we mentioned earlier, in the origin stories they give themselves about who they are and their story, what they've done, and all that. Like, very good job. Do you want to kind of go through the next phase, which is Old Man Peter who he is, his character not really wanting to be there.
Yeah, what happens next? It's
So,
first
Miles wants to get trained.
Yeah, so it's after that whole sequence, which is pretty cool, where they're being like dragged along by the train and everything, and that's pretty fun. And then afterwards, they're I forget where they go, but Miles is like, I want it. Yeah, so Miles wants to be trained, and he's saying like how the Peter from his universe, told him to destroy the thing, and basically it's his responsibility to do it because he promised him, and he has the little like, the thing that can do it. And the old Peter's like, nope, don't want any part of it. And Miles is like, oh, well, please. And then eventually it sort of convinces him, which shows that Peter is still, it's still Peter Parker. Even though he's old and can't be fucked anymore, it's still the same guy who wants to do the right thing, which was good. I liked that. That was done really well.
Yeah.
And then they move on to they go to that burger restaurant or whatever, and they're just eating burgers. And
yeah.
Sort of talking to each other, which was, I like their chemistry. I think they work well together.
Yeah, no, 100%, 100%. And like, you're like you've got this, right? I'm not really liquid right now. Like, he was the funniest character of the movie, I thought. Him and Noir, Spider-Man.
Yeah, I think I agree. And that was good. Yeah, I liked seeing them two together.
It's a bit Deadpool-ish, don't you think?
Yeah, it was in a way. Yeah. I think there was some Deadpool aspects. So the way that they're sort of like very self-aware that they're in a comic book movie as well at times was very very Deadpool-esque.
And which I mean, in comic-wise, Spider-Man, especially older Spider-Man, is very Deadpool-esque. They cross over a lot as well.
Yeah, Spider-Man can definitely be very Deadpool.
With the this is very Spider-Man, when he's talking about this plot, and like he's gonna say you have 24 hours,
and
all that sort of stuff. There's always a gizmo or whatever it is, like all that shit. So it was a very very good setup, and I like the way he starts to train him, but really taking on himself, and he's just wearing what's he fucking wearing, just sweatpants and whatnot and shit, and he's fat and everything. Do they go to Aunt May before they go to the...
No, that's after.
After, right.
Because they go with Gwen when they go to Aunt May. So they have to meet Gwen first. Do. So what they do is their plan is to break into that facility to... I don't remember, why did they break into the facility again? To find out about the thing.
They need to go to the Fisk computer or whatever.
What's it for though?
But isn't it info on how to stop the?
Oh, probably because he broke the little chip thing, didn't he? And they need to make a new one. So they do that. What do you think about that whole sequence, in the woods and in the lab and everything?
Well, I like the way they explained Doc Ock and how that worked, and the way they revealed as soon as the octopus shit came through, you're like, oh right. That's how that works, and that's when you realize oh yeah, so this isn't this is just totally different universe, and Doc Ock's a woman and all that sort of stuff. This is not the traditional timeline, and that was probably the biggest surprise to me. One of the biggest surprises of the movie. I'm like, oh shit, so she's Doc Ock, and that's how this is working. And then you get the chase through, and he's swinging through the trees for the first time, and then Gwen shows up, and she's a Spider-Man. That surprised me too. I was like, oh shit, okay, we're going this deep, right? Okay. I don't know, it was surprising, but I liked it, and I liked the introduction, and they were my three favorite characters of the movie. Was Miles, Peter, and Gwen together. They're a great team and a great set of characters that, I mean, for me, I want to see in a sequel.
Yeah, well, this is the thing, right? I think one of my main criticisms is you could take out Spider-Ham, Noir, and Penny Parker, and you lose nothing. They're not really needed other than to show there's lots of Spider-Man crossing over. Because they're just not necessary to the plot. But I mean, they can be fun. But yeah, Gwen, Peter, and Miles, obviously, great characters. I like the sequence as well when Miles is running away and Peter's trying to teach him how to swing. That's a good little sequence of Miles learning how to swing, but it also serves the plot. It's also action as well, and it just all sort of works together well. That's a nice little bit.
Yeah, no, absolutely. What happens after that? Remember.
That's when
There's
Gwen
Aunt
shows
May.
up. Gwen shows up, and then they meet Gwen, and Gwen's like, "Bloody, how's it going? I'm bloody Gwen Stacy." And yeah, you have a little introduction, and everything, and then, then they go to Aunt May. That's when they go to Aunt May, which was a great scene. I like that moment when the older Peter
sees Aunt
Parker
May.
is trying to
Because
trying to
especially
get
like
away.
in Aunt May's world, Peter's died, and in Peter's world, Aunt May's died.
Yeah, so them getting to see each other again is like, it's a really nice moment. But it's cool as well that Aunt May, she knows what's going on as well. She's like, don't worry, Peter. Obviously she worked with Peter closely while he was being Spider-Man and everything. Obviously she found out at some point and was, knew a lot about the shit he was getting up to. And I like Aunt May. I think she's a great character. I think she's, feels like Aunt May, but also, she's not just sort of like a helpless old woman, which she never really is. But, that was done nicely. And then, where do we go from there?
They go down to the...
Ah, yes, of course, yeah. Into the Spider-Man Batcave.
the spider cave.
Yeah.
The spider's nest. The spider's den. What's it called? A den?
What do you mean?
Like a spider, like, tunnel. Like what
a-
would you call a burrow? You call it a burrow, wouldn't you? Spider
The
burrow.
fuck? Spiders live in webs, don't they?
Yeah, but like, if you'd a funnel web spider, they build like ground nests and funnel their webs in there and
That
shit.
is disgusting.
Well, funnel web spider's the most deadly spider on Earth.
Get rid of them.
Obviously in
No good.
Australia. In New South Wales, the shit state anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Ah, good.
But yeah.
Anyway,
Just
they
saying.
go to the Batcave.
And then you see all the suits and everything. in there.
Yes, there's the advanced suit, which is cool, from Spider-Man PS4.
Yeah, there's
And a few other ones in there, which is nice, just seeing all the different Spider-Man suits.
The Peter Parker
And-
suit was very Homecoming too, like the main Peter Parker suit. Has the Homecoming back.
Yeah, because it was very similar to the comics, but it also has like that trim as well, like there's like a black trim to it, like similar to Homecoming as well. And it's got similar designs. Yeah, it's a really nice looking suit, to be honest, because it sort of like blends old and new, which is cool. But yeah, that's what happens next. Oh, that's where they meet all the other Spider-Men, and they're all together in the Spider Cave. And you get the introduction to all those characters, and that's a bit of a laugh. And you get to know them, and they all start grilling Miles about what he can and can't do.
That's when I was like, okay, what the fuck's going on? There's this anime bitch in there, there's a fucking pig. I'm like, okay, this is kind of ruining it.
I fucking
first-
love Spider-Ham so much.
At first I thought it was going to ruin it, because I'm like, okay, this is just stupid now. Like, this went from like a serious Spider-Man movie to the dumbest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't even remember what I thought the first time. But I do love Spider-Ham. I really do. I like him. I also love the noir one as well.
Yeah, right.
Funny guys. But yeah, they're all like grilling Miles, like, what the fuck can you do? And he's like, can't fucking do anything. And then, he doesn't feel like he's good enough, and then he leaves. And that's our like midpoint, I guess, where like Miles is all sad, and everyone's like, oh, I don't know what to do. And then the next big plot point is where he goes to his uncle's apartment, and he's going to leave a letter for him. But he hears someone coming, and it's the Prowler that's been, chasing after him for the whole movie. And then you find out that the Prowler is actually his uncle. What did you think about that?
Great plot twist. Really loved that. Especially because his dad's supposed to be a bad guy, and that's when you know he's like, oh, this is his uncle moment. Because I thought his dad was going to die this whole movie. Like, that's what I was
Like in Spider-Man
anticipating.
PS4?
Yeah. That's what I was anticipating. But then when it was like the uncle's bag, I'm like, oh, so the uncle's probably going to be the one that dies in this one. Yeah, no, I was like that a lot. I was very interested.
Yeah.
In how
it's
that
a
was
good
going to
moment.
go. Yeah. But yeah, it was a great chase, and I was kind of like, oh shit, how's this going to turn out? But yeah, good plot twist. Added some stakes to it. I like.
Yeah, definitely was good. And that's when we get Miles heads back to Aunt May's house, and runs in and like tells everybody like, my fucking uncle is the Prowler. But he was followed by a bunch of villains. You got bloody Kingpin's there, and Doc Ock, and Scorpion, and obviously Prowler shows up as well. I don't think there's anyone else, is there? Those are all the villains, right?
Yeah. Scorpion. Yeah, you said Scorpion. Yeah.
Yeah, Scorpion. Yeah.
Is Green Goblin in there at this point?
No, I don't know where he went, but he's not in the rest of the movie, I don't think.
Yeah, right.
You've got that, which is which is cool. And then you get the fight scene and everything, which is the action in this movie is done really well because it's just like it feels like comic book, but like it's on screen and it's animated really well. Camera angles and stuff is all really cool. I think personally.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, good for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I'd agree with that.
Yes, and then following that, okay, so the next moment is Miles' uncle has got him, like he's grabbed him, and Miles takes his mask off to be like, no, please don't fucking kill me. And his uncle's like, oh shit, this is not good. I'm in a bad situation here. And Fisk is there like, fucking kill him. What are you doing?
Yeah.
And then he like lets him go, and then Fisk shoots him, and he fucking like falls back, and he's like, he doesn't die right away, does he? Like he's dying.
He's dying, yeah, because he's still alive when he takes him to the alley as well.
Yeah, because Miles takes him to the alley, and then do they have a conversation? Do he say something meaningful there? I don't remember.
He just says, you're the best of us.
Yeah. Which is, it's a nice little moment. I mean, Miles already had, already wanted to do the right thing after seeing Peter Parker from his universe die, and wanted to, step up and be Spider-Man. But now he's got even, there's even more there as well. Like after his uncle dying and everything. A lot of shit happens to Miles in this movie, and he's,
yeah, right,
sort of strengthens him, I think, which is nice.
Yeah. But he still has his family and stuff. Like, that's, I think, an important thing for him.
Yeah.
Like, he still has his home base. He isn't totally lost. Like, he loses people, but not like... He still has mum and dad, which I think are actually quite important for any kid. When you lose people, there is a bit of a toughness, but when you lose your mum and dad, it's totally different. That's your whole world.
Yeah. Well, that's like with Batman. It's like, he became Batman after losing his parents. He didn't have anybody, he just had Alfred.
Yeah, right.
But, Miles, Peter had Aunt May and Uncle Ben. Miles has got his parents, so they don't completely turn into, a menacing Batman. Instead of just a friendly Spider-Man. Big difference there. Which is, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. Anyway, next up.
I don't know what you're talking about.
So that bit as well in the alley sets up the sort of
conflict
Spider-Man,
between...
James. We
I'm
are
not sure
talking
if
about
you've seen
Spider-Man.
it.
No, we're talking about National Treasure.
Oh, right. Sorry, my bad.
Yeah. The scene in the alley sets up the conflict between Miles' dad and Spider-Man, because Miles' dad, he already didn't like Spider-Man. They already set that up, and he thinks that Spider-Man murdered his brother. So that sets up that conflict there, which is another.
I was kind of thinking we were going a Harry Osborn Spider-Man 1 direction, right? With that.
Oh, like what? So like
he'll hate Spider-Man.
Spider-Man and not Miles, and whenever he sees him, he'll be like, "Where's your fucking friend? Where's the fucking spider? You fucking tell me." Do you know fucking weird? That's the weirdest part of Spider-Man 2 is Harry Osborn. Whenever he's talking to Peter, he goes from just being his mate to being like, "Tell me where fucking Spider-Man is right now." It's really it's almost comical.
Like Harry could beat up Spider-Man or something.
Yeah. Where the fuck Spider-Man? Tell me, I want to punch him.
He's like, shut the fuck up, James Franco.
He also slaps Tobey Maguire at that party for Jameson's son or whatever. Like, slaps him twice. It's really funny. Anyway, back to the Spiderverse. What happens next? Where are we in the movie? Uncle dies. I don't remember. What happens next?
Oh yeah, that's when they pretty much leave him behind. He goes back to his apartment to like cry, and all the Spider-Men go up to him and pretty much tell him like, "You're out, bro."
Yeah. Because that's where they're like, "No, you can't do it. Clearly, you can't. You're not able to." And that's when because they're all like, they all go to leave, but they're just waiting outside, and Peter does that move where he swipes his legs and grabs him, and he's like, "Come on, use your fucking powers." And then, you'll prove that you can do it. And he can't do it. And then he's like, "I'm sorry, we've got to leave you." And then he webs him to the chair. Which is, nice moment for Miles to, have some adversity and be like, "Oh, fuck. I need to sort of sort this out."
Yeah, right.
But
works. Also, then his dad shows up.
Yes, which is a nice moment. That's a good emotional scene where he's just sort of sitting in his room, listening to his dad, give his feelings, which is good, and that's the sort of catalyst for him being able to use his powers. And I don't know how or why, but
yeah, right.
but it is.
But it is. I don't know how or why, but it is. Well, it's just like he gets strength from his family, and that's what he said. He says at the end with Fisk there.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah,
he has
but
that strength. He has that support.
But how does his dad giving him a speech mean that he can now suddenly at will?
Well, a big thing for him was like, why couldn't he stick to things? He couldn't relax. Like, he was always stressing out and panicking. But then he kind of just has this comfort again.
Ah, yeah, you're right. That makes sense.
Yeah, that's where I went with it.
Yes.
So we'll roll with that as a fact.
Yep. And then we get one of my favorite parts of the movie, which is where he goes. I mean, you have that other subplot with all the other Spider-Men going to Fisk's party and trying to do whatever the fuck they're doing. They're like breaking in and everything, trying to get to the collider, and you have that scene with old Peter, because they're all dressed up and like they're waiters, because for some reason Fisk has got like a Spider-Man themed party or whatever. I guess it was in honor of Spider-Man, so all of the waiters are dressed as Spider-Man, which is incredibly sensitive. And so old Peter Parker, dressed as Spider-Man, gets to interact with Mary Jane, it's like a funny scene, but it's also quite like it's also kind of like a nice scene as well, I think. What do you think?
Yeah, like, it's nice because, well, it's good development for this Peter storyline.
Mm-hmm.
Because obviously what she won't mean anything to her. Like, it's not his, as Gwen said, it's not his MJ. So it's really not relevant. It's not her. So, but I do like the scene, the way he's like about getting the bread and stuff. Again, very Deadpool.
Yeah.
Very Deadpool. But I liked it a lot. It was good. But I liked this Peter Parker a lot too.
Yeah, I do as well.
So, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I liked it.
Yeah, good. Yeah, but back to what I was going to say before I remembered that scene happens. We've got one of my favourite parts, which is where Miles is, he's got out of the chair and everything, and he goes back to Aunt May and back into the spider cave and makes his suit, which is like repurposed.
I love his suit.
Peter Parker's suit. Takes that out, spray paints it black, has the red spider on it. Looks fucking awesome. It's such a fucking cool suit. I love Miles' suit. And that's a really nice bit. And you get him like, he's swinging about. He does the, jumps off the building and everything. And he's like finally, he's finally Spider-Man at this point. And that's fucking brilliant. It's fucking brilliant sequence. Like the camera angles, the animation, everything looks fucking fantastic when he's, swinging about and, really sort of showing off and everything. Going to join the other Spider-Mens at the party. And women's, of course.
Spider Things.
And Hams.
Yep.
Yeah.
Spider Theys.
Yeah, yes. That's better. But yeah, what did you think about that whole sequence with the suit and the, all that stuff, sort of like his, he's finally become Spider-Man?
Well, it's a good moment, especially because this movie has such great music to it and a great soundtrack, that it was just the way it was done. It was just, once you knew he had control of his powers, you're like, all right, well, let's just see him get. I was waiting. I'm like, he can't wear that stupid suit anymore, like costume he bought from Stan Lee. He's got to build that suit finally, especially for this climactic moment. And now he's a master of web swinging and his spider senses. But of course, it doesn't make sense. But again, it's a kids movie, superhero movie, so it doesn't really matter. But I really just loved seeing his suit and him come together and be like, all right, now it's time to kick some ass and really get into this. So yeah, I loved it. I loved it.
Yeah, it was very good. And then the final bit we sort of got is the final sort of climactic fight, where you've got all of the villains that have been showing up and the in the collider room, which is good. Nice action sequence that it's a decent length and shit. Trying to think if there's anything hugely major that happens other than sort of like the final fight with just Miles and Fisk. I don't think there's anything really that happens during that point other than saying goodbye to everybody, which is
true.
Which are good little moments. You got Peter. Well, first you've got the other ones that don't really matter. They all go, and that's fine. Which is nice. Spider-Ham gives him his hammer. And he's like, oh, it'll fit in your pocket. and that's, you know, I love Spider-Ham. He's my favourite. And then you've got Gwen.
Naturally.
Gwen goes, and they have a nice little moment where they're like, "Oh, look, we're finally friends."
I thought they were gonna kiss. I'm like, here we go.
I did think so as well. But it turns out, no, they're not. I mean, I feel like, I don't know, it was weird because it did feel like there was something there, like they were gonna do like a, you know, sort of a love relationship, but I guess not. And
well, when she said she lost her best friend, it's like, well, we know, Gwen, what Peter was to you, and you were fucking, so don't.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, that's a nice moment where they're like, because she's like, oh, I don't have friends anymore because I'm really edgy and shave the side of my head. Granted, that wasn't a choice.
Yeah, I was about to say, yeah, she
still did it though.
Oh,
so there you go. But you know, it's nice that she's finally like accepting. You know, oh yeah, we'll be friends. I want to say that we're friends again after, you know, losing Peter Parker. So that's nice moment. Then she goes and flies away into the thing, which is a nice scene.
Yep.
Good stuff.
And then Peter wasn't going to.
He wasn't going to. Which was, why wasn't he going to? Was it just to protect Miles?
Yeah, he just didn't want Miles to die, and he thought, well, he's already kind of, he given up on himself, and what Miles gave him was like, don't give up on yourself. You know, you've still got a lot to offer, and all that sort of nonsense.
Yeah.
So you don't kill yourself. But you know, other than that, you know, it was good. It was good. Yeah,
it was. And Miles does that little move that Peter did on him before, where he like swipes his legs and then grabs him, and Peter's like, "Ah, pretty good, kid."
Yeah, right. But I just like that he accepts and kind of, it's a double thing, right, for both their character development, because one's Peter realizing he can have a future and all that, but it's also him accepting Miles' ability to do it himself. So it's a double thing for both Miles' character development and Peter's character development for Peter to let go.
Yeah, definitely. That's good. It's good. And then
it was just cool that Miles got his own moment where, I didn't want there to be all these Spider-Man. I wanted Miles solo Spider-Man in his universe, the only Spider-Man of his universe now.
Yeah. That was good seeing him on his own, getting his solo moment. Like all the other characters are gone now, and it's just him on his own against Fisk, and it was like, yeah, this is good. Like he
and
feels
great
like
visuals
Spider-Man.
with the dimension tearing and all that sort of shit, and I really liked that. And obviously something you can only do with a cartoon version of Spider-Man, to go that ridiculous with sort of the look of the villains and the characters and Spider-Ham and all that.
Yes, put him in the MCU. I want a live-action Spider-Ham. But it's just a pig. It's just a regular pig.
Yeah, how dare you.
And then, I could do that as a little gag. Like, oh, look, it's Spider-Ham.
Spider-Pig. You remember the Simpsons movie?
Yeah, I do remember the Simpsons movie.
Yeah. Does whatever a Spider-Pig does.
Still not
Can he
funny
swing
though, is it?
From a web. No, he can't. He's a pig. Look out. There's a Spider-Pig.
That's the fucking dumbest thing ever. What? Oh, what even is that? Okay.
Oh, funny.
What a strange fucking movie. Do you like that movie?
I don't really know. To be honest,
you don't know?
I don't really remember it. I mean, I do, but I don't. Like, I don't really know.
The pig wasn't really of consequence in the end.
No, it wasn't.
Because it was like, he had like an overflowing silo of pig shit, and then dumped it in a river, and they had to quarantine the town or something with a big dome. I don't remember. Okay, why were we talking about the Simpsons movie? Anyway, back on with
Pig.
Spider.
Fuck.
Pig.
Does whatever. No, I'm just joking.
Okay. Good, because I thought you were serious.
Yeah.
Where were we?
Spider-Pig. Spider-Pig.
Hell,
does whatever Spider-Pig does. That's right.
Yeah.
Here's me. Look out.
Yep.
We're in Hawkins.
No, not again. We're not doing, that again.
Do what again? Do what again? I don't know what you're talking about.
Nothing at all.
I don't know what you're talking about, man.
So
yeah,
the fight. Okay, so the fight
battle
happens. Yes, and that's a great fight. I like it a lot.
Tell you what, do you know we haven't addressed Fisk's motivations?
Okay, yes, because he wants his family back. Because his family died. No, his family didn't die. Did they? Wait, did they? Oh, yeah, they did.
Yeah,
Sorry, they did. Yeah, they did. They got hit by a bus. Because he was beating up Spider-Man in his living room, and they walked in on it, and weren't happy. So they ran away, because somehow they didn't know that Wilson Fisk was the leader of a crime syndicate. But that's okay. And then they get hit by a bus, and so he really wants his family back, and That's his motivation. But he ends up in the exact same situation. And tell you what's funny though, right? So all these people, like the different universes with his wife and his son, that see him like beating up Miles, and the same thing happens again. Like it repeats itself, and he's like, "Oh no, I've done it again. Everything's ruined." They're all still in their universe. So does that mean Fisk just caused all of his other selves to lose his family as well?
Yeah, well, that's what he didn't care about. Well, that's Fisk. He doesn't care about the other selves. He only cares about himself now.
Yeah, but that also means that, like, because they didn't know they were in a different universe, right? So they just think, oh, this is my Wilson Fisk.
Would they figure it out there?
Maybe. But yeah, that happens, and then he's like, oh no, bloody fucked it up again, and they have their fight and stuff, and I don't remember. I don't remember the rest of the fight. I feel like there's like a poignant moment that's really.
Well, yeah, there's
really
Miles'
nice.
dad shows up.
Miles' dad does show up. He does, and they're fighting on top of like it's like the Brooklyn Bridge or something. Like shows up
something like that.
in the room, whatever. Like I don't know, comes out of nowhere, and they're fighting on top of that. And Fisk's like fucking him up, but then Miles starts fucking him up back. And it's great. It's a really nice scene, and it shows Miles, like, you know, coming into his own and being a competent Spider-Man. It's really nice. It's a really good moment, and it's a good fight scene.
Yeah. No, I loved it. I love the whole climax. I love the visuals and the moment where his dad's like, "Come on, Spidey," and he realizes, like, you know, what's really happening, and I love that. Love that moment.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. It's a good moment. And then he wins. I don't really remember what happens, how he wins. I'm drawing a blank.
He uses his shock power.
Yeah, he does, doesn't he? Yeah, he does. Yeah. I remember.
Yeah, he uses shock power, and yeah, that's awesome. That's cool.
Yeah.
Because obviously he has different powers. He's been by a different spider, so he can turn invisible, and you know he has cool little powers that not every Spider-Man has.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's cool. But yeah. Great fight, loved it, and loved how he wrapped that up. Threw him into the collider button. Stopped that. Everything kind of goes back to normal, and then gives Fisk back to his dad. But then he has that nice dad moment in the phone call finally, and it was it was great.
Yeah,
it was great.
Yeah. It's very good. And you get his his final triumphant swing through New York, which is, you know, classic Spider-Man thing to do, unless you're Spider-Man Homecoming or The Amazing Spider-Man 2 that didn't do that, but every other Spider-Man movie has. So it's nice to see Miles, you know, he's been through what he's been through, and he's just swinging, and he's Spider-Man, and it's great. And then you get that final scene of him like laying on his bed, and then the portal like opens above him, and Gwen is there like, "Hey Miles, bloody hell, I'm back."
Yeah, I don't really know how.
And we don't know. We don't know what's going to happen next.
And that's the end, and then fucking Sunflower plays, and we're all happy.
Yeah. And that was, it's great. And then you've got the post-credit scene. You watched the post-credit scene?
Yeah, what? I'm trying to remember what that was.
It was Spider-Man 2099.
What? Oh, yeah. And then he goes back to that original
to that old
point
60s
scene,
cartoon. Yeah. Which I think is a funny little scene, but I think it also means that he's going to play a role in the sequel.
That would be cool.
I reckon he'll show up, and obviously Gwen is there coming back, so we'll probably get some new Spider-Man and a new story and stuff.
But you want the Peter that we know from this and Gwen. Those three are kind of like, hopefully, the staples.
Yeah, you want those to show up again, because they have really good chemistry, and they're really good as a trio.
You have to have Peter Parker in it.
Yeah, well, you'd think so. You'd think so.
Yeah. Yeah, you'd hope so.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. You can't, because thing is as well, like, you also can't just kill him again. Like, oh, the other Peter has died now as well. Like, I feel like he's kind of got to stick around at this point, because, like, you know, in Miles' story normally, Peter dies, but that's the Peter from his universe, and it's not got this whole multiverse thing and everything. You can't really kill the other Peter again. It'd just be weird. So I'm sure he'll stick around if they do these crossovers.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
whatnot.
no,
But
exactly.
yeah, it was great. I can't wait to see more. I can't wait to see another one because it was bloody great.
Well, what do you want to see from the next one? What do you want to see Miles go and do? Because
I don't
he's
know.
had the coming of age story, becoming Spider-Man. What do you do? What villains do you want?
I think that Miles will probably travel to another universe in the next one.
Oh, do you?
Probably a thing. I think so. Yeah, I think he'll probably go somewhere else to mix things up a bit. Have him be the one traveling and go somewhere. They'll have like a team. Maybe that'll be the thing. Maybe they've controlled traveling, and maybe they'll try and assemble a team for a specific task that's like a big, universe-ending task or something. Who knows? Something like that. I don't know exactly what villain I would want though. I can't really think of any. I don't think they'll do symbiote, so I don't know. Beyond that, what big villains they could do, because they've got Green Goblin, and in this universe it's not the same. Like it's the shit Green Goblin that I'm not really a fan of, so they can't really do that. They've done Doc Ock. I don't know. What villains do you think could work?
I'm trying to think.
Mysterio could work. Mysterio was a villain in what was that game, Edge of Time, and that was about Spider-Man crossing over.
Yeah. I mean, they could do. Vulture's still there. Mysterio's still there. You can do a lot, especially with the multi-dimensions. You can retread old villains and make them completely different.
Yeah, definitely. Actually, that's a good point.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Spider Pig.
No. Never again. I don't
Yes.
like it, and the Simpsons movie is worse than the show, which itself is bad.
The Simpsons. Fuck. What?
You know I don't like the Simpsons.
Oh, I forget that. You don't like American comedy.
No, I don't. Not a fan. Not a fan. The Simpsons movie. There's a scene of Homer. Is he like in concrete or something, and he's just sticking his middle finger up, and like that's meant to be funny.
Yeah, I guess so.
I get the feeling a lot of people don't like the Simpsons movie. I don't know.
Yeah, it's not ideal. It's definitely not ideal.
I did used to like this movie. I did used to like it. I remember liking it as a child, but
Yeah.
That's what it's for. That's what it's for. It's for children.
I don't know, man. Yeah, you're right. Probably like Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse. Nothing wrong with that though.
That's where you'd be wrong.
Yeah. But yeah, I loved Spider-Man in the Spider-Verse. Where would I rate it, James, you ask? Probably third on my list of favourite Spider-Man movies, behind the two Tom Holland ones.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, loved it. Loved it. Love that one, love Homecoming, love Far From Home, and every other Spider-Man can eat my nuts. So, there's that. Do you know what I watched on YouTube? The alternate ending to The Amazing Spider-Man 2, where Peter Parker's dad shows up. Have you seen that?
No. What?
Do you know at the end of Amazing Spider-Man 2, Gwen Stacy dies?
Yes.
His dad's not dead and shows up. And it's like an actual really good, well-acted scene. I was like, why the fuck was this cut?
But why,
So he faked his own death to protect
That's
Peter.
so strange, though, because they were going to do the whole thing where, like, Aunt May is a secret spy. And that whole plot line where, like, his parents were, like, spies as well is weird to me. That was really strange in The Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
That was all really weird stuff. I don't know. Whatever. Yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah. I mean, we never really address... Yeah, the old parenting is always weird.
What the fuck just happened? Sorry, my Odyssey stream that I scheduled has just been taken down for violating community guidelines. The fuck? It's not even live. What did I do?
What was the name of it? It was just like...
Assassin's Creed Odyssey, The Fate of Atlantis, Episode 3, Judgment of Atlantis, Part 1. The same as I've done for all the other ones. What the fuck? It's for... Violates our spam, deceptive practices, and scams policy.
Maybe it's because you've changed it so many times.
But I've done that so many times before. That's so strange. The fuck?
I don't know, man.
I have to dispute it or whatever and be like, what the fuck are you doing? They didn't strike me. They just warned me. But... Warned me for fucking what? Fuck off, YouTube. What the hell? Okay, alright, well that's the Spider-Man into the Spider-Man movie.
Into the Spider-Man universe.
Great movie. Great movie. Really like it. Can't wait for another one of them.
Agreed, man. Agreed. I loved it. I'm glad I watched it.
I'm glad you did as well.
Not that I ever said I wouldn't like it, but I'm glad like I just wasn't stubborn about it. I'm never watching it. I'm glad I watched it.
Yeah, you should be. You should be like that about more things.
Like what?
Daredevil.
Oh no, I'll never watch those shit shows.
Shut the fuck up, man.
I'll never watch that bullshit.
Imagine not wanting to watch Daredevil. One of the greatest superhero things ever made.
You're so dumb. You're so dumb. If it's so great, why the fuck are they all cancelled? Why they get cancelled?
There's so many great things that are cancelled.
No, that's not true. Like what? Name one other thing other than those Netflix shows. It's because you don't even know what good TV is. The only shows you watched last year
watch fucking Daredevil.
Shows.
Watch Daredevil. Daredevil
I'm never
is
watching
incredible.
Daredevil.
You're an idiot.
You're an idiot.
You're an idiot.
You think there's an actual world outside Hawkins? You fucking idiot.
You're right. Actually, you've convinced me.
Yeah, shut the fuck up.
Oh, God. But yeah, all right. That's it though. We've done that. SpoilerCast. What's our next one?
We have. I don't know, bro.
National Treasure.
We'll be in person.
Let's watch National Treasure.
Do we have to? Yeah, no, we will.
Why'd you say that like you don't want to watch National Treasure at any given moment?
Yeah, that's true. I don't know, man. I don't know what to tell you. But, yeah, you know. I don't know, man. It's ages away. We're so far ahead in pre-recording. I don't know what...
You're right, we are.
There might be a movie that comes out.
There might be a movie.
You're asking too many questions.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Asking way too many questions. I don't like it.
Okay. Alright, let's wrap this fucking thing up. Anyway, okay. Thanks everybody so much for joining us. Thanks to our producers, King Richard III, Kassassin, ArunWyn, Seth, and Josh Devillier. You're all great. If you're listening to this on YouTube, Spotify, SoundCloud, iTunes, wherever publicly, and you want to get it a week early in the future, you can do it for just $1 over on patreon.com/as always, as well as getting access to the Patreon exclusive podcast, Kill Connor Clubhouse, which is the greatest podcast on the internet. So if you want to be involved in that, go fucking pledge to Patreon. You might as well do it. It's just $1 or more, whatever you want to do. Get involved. Fuck it. It's great. It's great stuff. Okay, and thanks to everybody pledging $5 or more. We have got King Richard III, Kassassin, Elstico91, Seth, Bullseye47, Josh Devillier, Damian, Bill the Team Tunnel Captain, Robertson, Tman or Travis, Baby Boy, KEMOSABE, Gamer, Casey Wood, Pinkfan313, Adam Sundling, Alfie Rowsell, Jamie Brown, Lumistrad, Married380 is gay, ArunWyn, Fuck Cuck, Brendon Overlord, RAVJAI, Julli, A.K.A Oscar, Benedict Parker returns, James Lad, Connor Durose Bully in the alleys, Zahir the FAT Gamer, Max H, Gene, Zeek Collins, Son of a Bitch Ogeaidogo, George, Dammit Glenn, Furious Coco, the ACMJS, Kyle, Sandor the Pussy Slayer, S. Jaws, Marcus Blackburn, Emil Katborg, Joshua Mora, Ginko Swag, Master Bass, Yazen, Joe the Sexy Boi Smith, Joe A.K.A FoundedScarab, Hedgehog Travel Golden Bago, Alfie Robert, Brian Ford, Casper, Milkboy, Shields, Fishy or Ethan Woodgates, Andreu Martinez, and Fernacklers on YouTube. Thank you all so much for your continued support. You're all bloody brilliant. Love you all. Good stuff.
Amazing.
And that's it. That's a wrap.
Thank you. No, James, no more podcast to record at this point.
Oh my God. That's great.
Next time we do a podcast, we'll be in person.
Thank God.
I know. It's about time. 5 years, man. 5 years we've been doing this shit.
5 years. That's a few years.
Yeah, at no point you would have ever thought that at that moment 5 years later, fuck.
Yeah.
We'd be still doing this. Still doing this like we're doing in person. About fucking time though. It's about fucking time.
For sure.
Alrighty. Wrap this motherfucker up.
That's it.
Thanks for listening, everyone. We will see ya next time when we're in person for video podcasts.
See you later,
Goodbye.
boys.